Turns out it wasn't just his ox that was blue.
You've told that one before. Do you hear that?
Zach Stephens, or as we like to call him, 16 millimeter Zach. That's what he's known by at the Myrtle Beach International Film Festival. Thank you so much for bringing Plaid this year and submitting Plaid.
My pleasure. Thank you for accepting it, Jerry. It's always an honor to be at the Myrtle Beach International Film Festival.
And it's an honor to have you. One of the few people left that still shoot on 16 millimeter.
Yeah.
So no plans to turn to digital yet, right?
I do shoot on digital occasionally, but I use film whenever I can.
Yeah.
Any opportunity I can, definitely.
Now, being a filmmaker, and also you use digital.
Right.
What is the biggest difference to you of both mediums?
Right, so besides the obvious visual difference, right, because when you're watching film, there's a certain quality to it and grain to it. Besides that, there's an intentionality to shooting on film that with digital, people, they'll do 30 takes just because they can, or they'll shoot something from every angle and they'll say, we'll figure it out in post. But when you're shooting on film and you've got a limited amount of film stock, you can't do that. So you have to be really intentional about the shots that you want. You have to rehearse. Everyone needs to understand what's going to happen, and then you can actually hear the camera rolling. And I've had actors tell me, they're like, I hear the film going through the camera, and I know I have to give a good performance because I won't get too many chances to do it.
Right.
So yeah.
And also the crop. You're not going to crop. You can't shoot 8K and crop down to 2K.
That's right.
And pull the shot in and make a better 1/3 or whatever. You got to get it right out the camera.
Exactly.
And I think the science of that brings an intensity to the film that shows through, which I really enjoy. People that went from actual celluloid film to digital, you learn the science of film, which is so crucial.
Right.
I'm glad that I learned in film and then went to digital because of the science. And sometimes as I'm getting older, I got to wear cheaters. So if I don't have my cheaters, you rely on the science, right? And you dial it in as close as you can get. I hope it's good. So, but another statement that I make with the digital world, which is sometimes it's a little bit much to see people's pictures, digital photographers.
Yeah.
If you have to crop and Photoshop, you're not a photographer.
Right.
And I know that's a harsh word to some people out there, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think...
Because you get the vision of the artist when you don't crop.
Right. So I think there's artistry to both of them, but they're a bit different, right? Like with photography, you have to capture an image at a certain time with the light hitting it a certain way, and that's what you get. But if you go in afterwards and you tweak it, that could still be artistic. You might still end up with a beautiful image.
It is,
but right, it's
not the rawness.
It's not raw, and it's a little safer, right? It's not. You don't take as many risks, and that's another thing about film, is it's both risky but thrilling because we don't use monitors. You can put a monitor on a film camera, but we don't. So you don't know until you get the film back what you've got.
Right.
And so that's, like I said, thrilling and risky at the same time.
You ever been through that oh crap moment when you've gotten film back from the processing? It's like,
yes.
Oh, what? Sometimes the film was bad itself.
Right. Yeah, we were using a film camera that was it's kind of known for being finicky, and we got the footage back, and half of the footage looked great, and then the other half, it was just everything was blurry, and that was because the film, like the spool. One of the perforations just kind of got bumped, and so it wasn't capturing things clearly, and so...
You want to say the name of the camera? Because obviously you like using it. It was
a K3.
Okay.
K3s are great, nothing against them.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not the only filmmaker who's had a problem with a Krasnogorsk 3, yeah.
Now, any feature films in your future that you could foresee?
I would love to shoot a feature on film. That's something I'd have to budget for and plan very carefully for, but it's kind of my dream. And I've only shot on 16 millimeter, but if I could ever shoot a feature on 35, because the bigger aspect ratio, and it's so cinematic, that'd be a dream come true. I'd love that.
do you have a concept in mind already? Have you thought about this for a long time?
I mean, I've got some concepts. I would want to pick a special one for film, right? Like and there's something about the medium. I would want it to be kind of the right project for film, but yeah.
So, Zach Stephens, day-to-day life, what do you do?
Oh,
Outside film?
Outside
Filming
film?
The 16mm films?
right. Well, I'm teaching at the Georgia Film Academy right now.
Okay.
So that fills a good chunk of my time, and the rest of it, yeah, I'm just trying to organize my ideas in a way that I can kind of achieve them. You know, a feature is a really huge undertaking, and it can be kind of daunting, but it's also kind of exciting. So.
Do you enjoy teaching?
Oh, I love teaching. Yeah, I love it.
So give me a day in the life of Zach Stephens if you were a trust fund kid with billions of dollars behind you. You don't have to get up at any given time. There's no, you basically write your own rules for life at that point and do what you want to do to its limit. What does a day look like to you?
I think a day would
Get up at noon, get up at 7,
I think
stay up all night, because creative people like the nighttime.
They do. When I was younger, I used to stay up late, but as I get older, I'm actually more of a morning person, an early bird. So I probably still get up around 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Have a leisurely morning. Maybe sit with my cats for a minute.
How many cats do you have?
I have 2 cats.
Okay. Names?
April and Niona. They're gorgeous. And I guess I would probably sit down to write, maybe work on a screenplay or something, and then probably just go maybe exercise, grab some lunch, do something outside, try to spend time with people.
Right.
I don't think I would just be lazing by a pool. I think I would go crazy not having something to do.
But tackling big projects like feature films, I mean, would that be, would you head into that arena or take it easy?
No, if money were no object and I had all the time, I would pursue feature films.
Yeah, bigger and bigger projects.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as you are now, you're a professor, I take it?
Yeah, you can call me that, sure.
At Georgia Film?
The Georgia Film Academy.
Film Academy,
That's
and
right.
where's that located?
That's in Atlanta. They've got a few campuses. There's one campus is in Fayetteville at Trillet Studios, what used to be Pinewood Studios. They film a lot of Marvel stuff there. Francis Ford Coppola is filming something there right now. And then they have a couple other campuses around Georgia. There's one in Savannah, I think, one in Norcross. And students from all kinds of different universities in Georgia can take classes through the Georgia Film Academy and get credit at their home institutions. So.
Yeah, as film came into Atlanta, over the last 20 years, how has that changed the landscape in Atlanta?
It's changed a lot. I've only been in Atlanta for about 5 years myself, but I know in 2008 they passed the tax incentive, and that brought just a ton of projects. Like most of the Marvel movies are filmed, at least partially, in Georgia. Stranger Things, I think, starts filming today, their new season, in Georgia. And so the industry has exploded, and it's brought a lot of people. Like the population has increased and the infrastructure has gotten better, and just it's been putting people to work in Georgia for 15 years. It helped a lot of people ride out the economic crisis of the 2000s, and then the pandemic slowed things down, but it's still, keeping people employed.
Now, you've been wanting to make films since you've been a kid?
Yeah.
Or
I know.
You grabbed your dad's Bullets or what?
So when I was a kid, we had a camcorder.
Yeah.
Like a videotape.
Yes.
Camcorder, and I used to just goof
VHS.
off. We had 2. So we had one you would put a full VHS in it, and then when I was in high school, we had a mini DV, little cassettes.
Yeah.
And I would just goof off with my friends, and we made stuff.
Canon XL1. What was it?
I never had. It was actually it might have been. It might
the
have been
long
a Canon.
the
XL1.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. And then we had I don't know. My dad, you don't remember what we had, do you? No, he doesn't remember.
All the definition you'll ever need, 720 by 480.
There you
right?
go.
That's what it sold at.
That's exactly right.
It was a beast of a camera.
Yeah, I mean, it did the job.
Yeah.
Durable. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for continuing to shoot on film. It gives us a pleasure to watch it, and the audience likes it. I think they get to see the contrast difference between actual film and digital. Not taking anything away from either one of them. It's a different medium. Absolutely. And I think that it's really a beautiful art.
I think so too, and I'm grateful. Quick shout out to the Kodak Film Lab in Atlanta. They've been really supportive of indie filmmakers, and that's the lab where we process our films. And thank you for having us, and thank you for putting together this amazing festival.
Getting into the Kodak Labs real quick,
Sure.
how does that work for independent filmmakers that want to shoot on film, because the process is expensive, the film's expensive? Do they help in that arena, and how does that work?
It can be expensive. They do help. They run, every year they do a thing called the 100 Feet of Film Project, where they give filmmakers an opportunity to tour the lab, take a workshop, because a lot of people have never worked on film anymore. So they let people come in, kind of show them how it's done, and then you get 100 feet of film to try to make a film. And they're very supportive of the indie community, and as well as, you know, like The Walking Dead was shot on film, and they processed all of that at the same Kodak Film Lab. So they were doing big studio things at the same time. Anytime an indie filmmaker wanted to shoot on film, they were happy to, you know.
So how many minutes is 100 feet of film?
100 feet.
16.
100 feet of film on 60 millimeters is about 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Right.
So it's not a lot, but it's enough.
It's enough to make something happen.
It's enough to make something happen. Actually, the last film I had here, A Day Like Any Other, was for that project. So we only had 2 minutes and 45 seconds to do, and it turned out to be a 2 minute and 35 second film. So,
Real close.
yeah, we cut it close.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Jerry. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.